I'll check right now. Oh, we are. We're up. Wait. Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
wait.
there we
Oh, I
go.
think we're live.
Yeah.
Ah.
Nice. Oh, wow. And Sim for Kenyon, you're very quick.
It raced to the start.
Another 10 Darwin Nichols.
Got the
45
ten
there?
dollars. I 55 even.
No, no, because they had 40, and then we
Oh
took
yeah,
away
the deduction
5 and gave them to Tom.
was true.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Great work.
yeah. Oh, man. How are you doing? Simp for Kenyon?
Yes, and for Kenny.
Alright. Ah, there we go. I can enter a title.
Oh, you can title the stream now. What are you gonna title it?
Flying Goat Podcast Episode 7? Is it?
Yeah, so 7. I'm living my best life, Sim for Kenyon.
Yeah,
My best.
doing pretty good.
You know,
Um,
thinking
let's
about
see.
bugs and thinking about snacks.
Category, would it be literature?
Do literature. We are
Uh,
liturgic. We're a
there,
liturgic
there
podcast.
is no literature tag. Um,
Dude, just chatting then.
just chatting. Done.
I guess we count as just chatting.
Yeah.
Wow, we have a title.
We
Look at
do.
us.
It's pretty cool. I think that gave us another achievement too, which is why I did it. I'm a bit of a
Wow,
magpie.
aren't we all?
Yeah.
We all.
So, in the wake of last chapter, very
Hmm.
momentous.
Honestly, very emotional chapter.
Very.
Those who are uninitiated, John lost a finger. John, our main protagonist of this story,
He did.
he lost a finger.
He met.
Uh, I think it's kind of his fault, but
Yeah. He tried to doctor when. Why did he do it again? Like, he smashed it
um,
between two rocks, but why?
oh, he was trying to make a fire.
Oh, right, right. Smart man. Ah, but you know, things are starting to ramp up a bit, aren't they? You know,
As they always are in beautiful literature.
very true. The art of the written word.
The art of the
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Let's think because, right, he is finally going on his first real case. You know, on his own.
Honestly, he's a big kid now.
He
And
is
now we can see what he does as a big kid.
no more depends. That's what.
Mhm. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh God, has this been John being nice all this time?
Oh, he's been Mr. Nice Guy. Let me let me tell you. Now, I have a question, right?
Oh yeah.
What game will you be playing?
Ooh, that's a very good question. And the answer is that I will be playing Portal.
Wow.
Yes,
Exciting.
very fun game.
Now, members of chat had been asking me all week. The Portal, says Dr. Kip. Yes, the
Yeah.
Portal.
Yes, the
Portal Uno.
one by Valve.
Good game,
I
says
don't
Dr. Kip.
don't
Very true.
know if you've heard of them. You know, they're a pretty indie, pretty niche company.
Yeah, pretty indie. Pretty niche.
um, but yeah,
What about Whoosh the game?
what is Whoosh the game?
I think
Have I been whooshed?
you've been whooshed.
God dang it! This always happens.
I think Spirit Buckle 77 has just pulled one on you.
I
Dr.
did.
Kip says he got whooshed.
I
Damn.
did got Dr. Kip
Brutal. Brutal.
pretty, you know, I think I'll have to file a restraining order now.
Probably. I need a couple of those. Moving on.
Oh no. Yeah, yeah.
I'll,
You think it's about time to get to the reading?
I think it's about time.
All right.
Now, chat, I love this, streaming, but I'm very upset right now because I want to eat my, but I can't.
Yeah.
This is for you, chat. The sacrifices I make. For chat. For the viewers at home.
Right.
God. Why do I try and be such a fucking asshole when I stream? Anyway.
I don't know. So,
Chapter 7.
Synchronized.
I woke up the next morning in a bed that was not my own for the 4th time, and I felt surprisingly fine. Though hearing the rattle of metal on metal in the other room did unnerve me for a moment. It reminded me of my time in the army, when my friends would wake me up in the middle of the night and warn me that ghosts of the Reds I'd killed were coming to haunt me. I would hear them rattle around just outside of the barracks. My closest friend there, Eric Lane, I think was his name, pull out a steel tube and hide it with me. My first instinct this time was very similar. I brought off one of the legs of a wooden chair on the roof and readied it as a club. I'm best at Krav Maga, but I won't turn down a weapon when it's available. It was fortunate that the rattling soon stopped, and I heard Hank shout. It's a very interesting start to the chapter, knowing that number 1, he has a kill count.
I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah. He does.
And not only does he have a kill count, he also
Yeah, government sanctioned,
has
by
the
the way.
strength. What's up?
Government sanctioned kill count, by the way.
That's true. And he does have the strength to rip. No, he has not fought in Vietnam and World War II. He has fought in Vietnam, Simfer Kenyon. Damn, no Kev eating ASMR, says Dr. Celery. Yeah, no Kev eating ASMR, sorry. And can you beat Portal before the chapter is over? Speed run?
No.
Question for you, Ren.
No. But I can try.
I'll take that as a yes. So John heard Hank shout, "Hey John, are you awake in there?" The only explanation was that he dealt with whatever was after me. It was even more like the army then, come to think of it. Some of the guys would go out and fight the ghost while Eric and I huddled. They were so effective that I never saw a ghost once. Rebecca commended them for a promotion a couple times. The officer would just laugh. It's disappointing, but it didn't matter so much. If he didn't want competent soldiers to get their due, then that's his problem. I always figured. John. Oh, yeah, I'm awake, I shouted. I'd forgotten to answer the first time. Well, come out now, then. I made breakfast. The events of the last day or so, a nice meal from a stranger sounded like just what I needed. That's 2 strangers out of 2 to be accommodating then. I've even fallen in love with one of them. Damn her. Hank was very nice too. Gave me the feeling that it would benefit me to follow more strangers around, see what they're like. The experiment would have to wait though. I had a case and I couldn't let the client down, so I quickly ran an abridged version of my morning routine without the hair gel, but I make do. And went out for breakfast. Now the question is, what does he make do with?
That is for you to decide.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. Just a bit. You know,
Just a bit.
for all you know, it's tooth juice.
Tooth juice?
Don't know what that is.
I was thinking a
Don't know what
very
that
different
is.
direction.
Don't know what that is, but you know, it can be whatever you want, right?
Yeah, tooth juice.
Tooth juice. Yeah. Yeah.
I figured that, well, with your finger missing and all that, you wouldn't be in the mood to cook for yourself, said Hank as I entered the kitchen. There was a thin haze of smoke throughout the kitchen, marking a lack of ventilation. If Hank wasn't careful, his cabin might be in danger of burning sometime. Maybe he knew that. He would just like the thrill of it. He did approach me after all. We were strangers to each other, but if I used Krav Maga on him, he'd be significantly less alive. To quote John Marsh, he would be significantly less alive.
Yeah.
Maybe it's another reason to be more trusting of strangers. Sometimes I'm one of them. And I know I'm a really cool guy. When Hank turned from his pan to face me, he frowned and pointed to my right. Say, what have you got in your hand there? I was still holding my makeshift club. Oh, I replied. Well, it's useless now. I was going to get to call the ghosts, but you already took care of that. Hank looked at me for a brief moment with a puzzled look on his face before shaking his head and turning back to the pan. Why would you need to club a ghost? They're just lost souls, not harming anybody. You've obviously been very lucky then. There was a bit of a pause before Hank eventually said, "Right, I'll bill you for the chair." Reminded me that now that I was independent, I'd have to set up my own business bank account. There'd be a lot of work to think about it. In my mind, I could almost see the little office building, bright neon lights above the door. Marsh Detective Agency. Would all be worth it just to see it for real. Breakfast was very nice. Hank made me a nice plate of eggs and bacon with some nice crusty bread. He insisted the bread was store bought, but I know homemade when I see it. Over. Sorry, chat, but how'd you come up with that line? It was too fucking.
I don't know. It just happened.
Hank didn't seem to care much about my very important, even now that I had explained in full for a second time. But he offered to drive me all the way back to my house in Sedgwick. I even convinced him to give me a few dollars in case I needed it. I'd given all the money I had to the guidesman as teeth. Tithe.
Yeah, ties.
Soon enough, we had finished eating. I helped with washing the dishes, and Hank slipped me $5. About to head out when Hank pointed to the fireplace and said, "Don't forget your necklace if you leave one in the fire." Right, I told him as I wandered over. There it was, hanging above the fireplace, my bare, clean-picked finger bones hanging from a string. This was the kind of thing I had wanted since a kid, actually. Just a dream of a frontiersman adorned by bits of your own hunt, raccoon skin hats, fur coat, that kind of stuff. Of course, I'd always imagined it being a rat skull or something. Such a shame that the servants always hurried me away whenever I saw one in my house. My train of thought was soon broken by a loud honking of horn. "Let's get going, yeah?" Hank shouted from outside the cabin, not wanting to be a bother. I quickly grabbed my necklace, put it around my neck under my coat, and hurried to Hank truck. The ride was surprisingly quick. I had a 5-minute stop to convince Hank to apply for a position. Or, I had just a 5-minute trip to convince Hank to apply for a position with the Marsh Detective Agency. While I couldn't exactly offer any benefits, salary estimate, nor description of the position, he would surely be a valuable member of the team. Given time to think, we probably would have to settle on a clerk position or secretary of some kind. But he just laughed. "I'm not going to work for a job that can't pay," he told me. "I'm sorry, but I have to get food on the table. I'd rather not live too near town either, too loud. Of course, it comes down to money. Nobody has any integrity these days. You know? The bread connoisseur, a bread professional. Chat, it's very true.
Yeah.
John is one of the best bread experts in the world.
Yeah. For all
Now,
we
another
know.
question is,
Yeah.
would John technically be a boomer?
He would. He would. Yeah. He would. He would have been born after World War II. So yeah.
So, he is John the boomer.
He is a boomer. Yeah.
He's a boomer, and he's exhibiting some boomer attitudes. Saying that things just aren't the same as they used to be. People aren't the same.
Yeah.
Nobody has any integrity these days. Not much more was said when the car was stopped. "We're here," said Hank. "So this is your house?" It wasn't. Cleverly, I actually gave him the address of the house with the guideman's money in it. That way, he did most of the work of getting me there. It was a good start to my first private investigation. "John?" Hank tapped me on the shoulder. "Oh yes, this is the place." Hank pulled up the drive about halfway. As we were getting on, he said, "Well, here you are. I hope you get that finger looked at by a rail doctor. I've seen it happen in my line of work. So believe me when I say that you do not want to lose a hand." We locked eyes for a moment. I nodded. "And John," he continued, "good luck with the detective agency. I'm sure you'll be able to hire some people as soon as you get the payroll and all that sorted out." At that, I closed the car door and Hank drove. The house seemed to be exactly as I had left it a few days previously. Although now there were a few road cones in front with the letters FBI on them. Didn't quite understand the purpose of keeping the charade. I had already figured them out a while ago, but it didn't matter. What did matter, however, the IRS somehow knew that I would come back here, I would have to watch my step for a while, lie a little low. The property, as well as the larger area, was also covered in a nice layer of snow. It looked quite nice. I took a few steps forward, taking in the scene before I went into investigator mode. I still didn't have my notebook, but it didn't matter too much. I made do with the crumpled napkins I still had in my pocket. There was very little of note around the house, save for one very important detail. The snow was undisturbed throughout the property, save for minute tracks and another set of footsteps leading up the main drive and to the front door. Obviously someone else had been here, but who and when? Now, the snow had only fallen around 2 days ago and continued to fall until last evening. The tracks looked clean, however, so they were likely recent, perhaps earlier in the day. It was also very telling that the tracks only came as one pair. I knew then that they probably weren't left by police, as they work in at least pairs of two. But who could it be? I came up with many theories, but there were two that stuck out in my mind. First was that the IRS agent had visited earlier. Their presence
Oh.
evidence by the road cone. The second was that there was some kind of time travel thing going on, and I'd been sent back in time to meet myself, and possibly relay some message from the future, maybe about how to get the IRS off my. The former seemed more likely, but I secretly hoped it would be the latter. And so often seems to happen, my train of thought was soon interrupted by a loud thud from inside the house. I really got the feeling that I was walking into some kind of trap, but my hands were tied. If I wanted to find Marissa Schulman, I would have to get the guy that's been. I reached out for the doorknob and spent a few minutes bracing. When I felt I was ready, I exhaled forcefully and opened the door. Ah, another death?
Yeah. Oh, such a shame. Oh well.
Chat said, John the Jumer, not the IRS. It's always the IRS. Of course it's the IRS.
Of course. Those bastards.
Dr. Kip personally subscribes to the time travel theory, and Sinfer Kenyon brings up the theory of aliens. John hasn't thought about aliens yet. That's very true. I guess he hasn't considered the whole spectrum of threats. If he hasn't considered aliens. What do you feel about that, Ryan?
I mean, it really could be anything. Aliens, they're a pretty good shout, you know.
They're a thing.
No,
That's true.
I keep doing that. Yeah, I mean, aliens, he did see them once while he was high, so you never know.
That's true. Well, none of the lights were on inside the house, and all the shades were drawn over the windows. The dim light that I did make it in, I couldn't see anyone. But if they were hiding in the darkness? I made my way to the nearest window and opened the shades. The light was welcome, but I still couldn't see anyone. I figured I would just have to get over it and move on with my objective. I tiptoed my way over to the study, across the foyer, through the living room, up the stairs, and so on. As I drew closer, I began to hear the odd thunk, thunk, thunk. The sounds were much quieter than before. More like burden footsteps than something falling. The sound certainly didn't help. Knew for a fact, or as close to a fact as I can assume, that there was someone in the house who didn't even attempt to hide their presence. Was it a slimy IRS trick? How many hidden agents did the sound work to cover up, to make less obvious? I took the time to scan around each dimly lit room as I entered. I still walked. When I reached the top of the stairs, I began to hear what sounded like a man mumble, as well as that of flicking papers. As I walked closer, it became clear that the sound was coming from the study. Even closer, when I saw that the door was wide open, and there was a light coming from out of the room, the only light on in the entire house. Carefully, I looked in through the doorway. Inside the room, I saw a scruffy young man sitting with 2 duffel bags of cash. They were both open, and he seemed to be counting bundles of money while humming a tune. Admittedly, it was quite a catchy song. The man didn't seem to notice me in the doorway. It was unfortunate, too, as I froze up. It occurred to me that it was just as the chief of the IRS, the chief had said. The IRS sent someone to take the money away. It wasn't a policeman problem anymore. It was my problem, and Marissa Schulman's problem. If I didn't get the money to the guideman. Strangely, seeing this made me angry instead of fearful. Without thinking, I shouted, "What are you doing here?" while storming into the room. I couldn't muster. Alright, all the confidence I could muster. The man jumped to his feet and back to the wall. What? No, I'm not. No, I'm. He was stuttering. I kept an eye on him while I put all the money back in the duffel bags. Eventually said, "Who are you? Are you a cop?" Of course not. I snarled. Perhaps barked. I'm Private Detective John Marsh of Marsh Detective Agency. The man sighed and seemed to relax the smallest amount. Why are you here? Should ask the same for you, IRS pig. I'm here to take the money back and bring it to the guideman. I'm sure you've never heard of him. You know the guideman? The man queried. I nodded, but did not respond. After a moment, I said, "It's funny actually, because I was going to bring this money back to him as well. The group's not doing so well these days, you know." I stopped for a moment and turned to the young man. Why would he send both of us to do the same thing and tell neither? The man shrugged. He works in mysterious ways, you know. Takes that to combat the end of the world. It doesn't make any sense to me. It took minutes to parse what the man was saying. In the meantime, with the front door creak open, followed by the echoed sound of two people talking, the man behind me gasped. Oh no, it's the cops this time. I just know it. The voices did sound somewhat familiar, so I listened to see who they might be. Picked up the lilty voice of Hess as well as the gravelly voice of James. Of course they replaced me with James. Still, I was actually a bit happy to see someone I recognized after the past few days. While the young man cowered in the corner, I walked out on the doorway into the foyer. Lo and behold, there were Hess and James. How's it going, Hess? I said down to them. The two men stopped talking and looked up at me. Hess seemed very surprised. John, what are you doing here? Chief said you were on leave. Rober or something? Not quite, I responded, but I'm back now. Hess nodded for a moment. Right, but why are you here in this house? Why didn't you report? I didn't report in because I don't work with the police anymore. I'm now the lead detective from Marsh Detective Agencies. Somehow it seemed like a bad idea to mention the guideman, the man, the IRS, or anything that happened in the past few days. I'm here looking for clues for my first case, disappearance of Marissa Shulman. Hessler shook his head. James laughed for what seemed like a long. So when the chief said you were on leave, he meant you were. Worse. There's a few moments
you
of
cut out a
silence.
little bit there.
Where did I last leave off?
What James was saying.
Ah, sorry, folks.
No problem.
James laughed for what seemed like way too long. Where I was.
Yeah, that's where you were.
And then said, so when the chief said you were on leave, of course. There were a few moments of silence as Hess seemed to think. Okay, he eventually said. John, I don't really want to arrest you for this, so I'll tell you what. James and I will go back outside and wait for 15 minutes, okay? You look for clues, and then leave through the back door before time's up. You were never here. Got it? James looked over at him, a credulous look on his face. Come on, he said. Seriously? Let's just bag him. He's always been a freak anyway, right? Hess laughed forcefully for a moment for saying, James, John was never here. He doesn't ever understand? He grabbed James by the shoulder and dragged him out the front door with clothes behind him. When I went back to the study, the young man said quietly, You just talked them away. Man, you're a lifesaver. I nodded, then continued putting money back in the duffel bags. The man helped. When all the money was back in the bags, the man said, I've got a car in a lot just a bit away. Do you need a ride to the farm? Is that what you guys call your condominium complex? I asked. The man laughed for a moment before saying, yeah, do you need a ride? I nodded. The man lifted the duffel bag, gesturing that I should do the same, and said, then let's get going. Well, folks, that's chapter 7.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about it? I was very surprised, to be frank.
Oh.
Not about any bit, but that that the police were back.
Ah.
I was actually thinking it was going to be Quincy. I was like, Quincy's coming back, but it was Hess. I was surprised.
Yeah. Well,
John
nice
Marsh
surprise.
theme plays. Every time he says the John Marsh Detective Agency, his theme plays. And
Oh god, that's
Simper
definitely...
Kenya says, no, give more.
Give more.
I need more. Listen, man. Next week, next Monday. It's how we rock things.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Chat's saying this was a short one, but I don't think it was short. I just think I didn't have a lot of intermingled commentary.
Yeah. This is actually longer than some of the ones I've written in the past.
Yeah. I guess I'm just better at reading faster now.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of practice actually
What did I do
for
there?
my public
Jeez.
speaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. What did you guys
So
think of it?
yeah, what chat? What are your opinions, chat? We always like to hear what chat thinks.
Yeah.
Thumbs up from
Oh,
Since Kenyon,
well, that's good.
or rather, thumbs up.
Yes, yes.
But it was good, says Simfer Kenyon. Too short, says Feared Buckle. You know, that's just the art of it. We need him for John Marsh theme. You know, maybe we'll hire an artist for that.
Yeah.
You never know. We're gonna hire for the John Marsh theme.
That's a good question. I don't really know any noir composers.
I need more of a fix, says
More-
Feared Buckle. You know, and that's what we'll get you next week.
Oh no, have we gotten people addicted now?
Well, like John is to being an idiot. They are addicted to listening to him be an idiot.
Very true.
Very true indeed. Well, how far have you gotten in port?
I think I'm on the
Level you are.
penultimate regular level.
Wow. Very far. What a speed run.
No, wait, I'm not. No, there are a few more. This is just farther than I get in most playthroughs because I've played this game so many times.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder.
What?
Well, I don't know what you gotta wonder. You just gotta wonder.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's good that everyone likes it. If we've
Yeah.
created something like the literary form of crack, then I think we're onto something.
I think we're onto something.
Oh man, it's funny actually. Kenyon and I before the podcast, we were talking about this kind of stuff a bit.
Mhm.
About like, what would it be like if the book got bigger than either of us ever imagined it would, which is anyone buying it. Ow. Oh god.
Well,
Yeah.
gotta be honest. I hope not. But if it does, I'll cry.
Will you have lost faith in humanity at that point?
I already have. Don't worry.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, yeah. There you go. It's dead.
Don't worry about my loss of faith in him. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it
we're the
happens.
writers of the John Marsh book. I think we don't have much faith. Or
Fun.
rather, much anything.
Yeah. We are pretty much writing about the dumbest person to exist, so.
I think we're just writing an autobiography in a way. Can we
Yeah.
buy it, though? Never know, Simfer Kenyon.
Yeah, yeah.
You never know.
We might put it on Amazon or something. That's
No,
what some people
no
do.
Amazon. We gotta put it on Bingazon. Whatever the Bing version of Amazon is.
Ooh, yes, Bingazon.
Bingazon. Hey. Not dumb. Very
Oh.
intellectual.
Yes, yes.
You don't need to do yourself dirty like that. He's special.
Was that a Dr.
he's-
Celery, by any chance?
No, it's Dr. Kip.
Oh,
We have a lot of doctors in the stream.
we do.
We have quite the PhDs.
It's good, someone in the chat might need medical attention one of these days.
That's true. You never know when you're on a flight.
Yeah. You think we should wrap up once I finish
I
this
th- I
level?
think- I think once you finish the level, though, I want to see
What do you want to see?
the end of the level. That's all.
Yeah. Hello.
Attracts a lot of high IQ personnel. I'd honestly venture to say the opposite.
What, our book or Portal?
No, our podcast.
Aha, yes. Very high IQs.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I feel it. I doubt that. Also, chat. I mean, seeing the people who are watching in chat, we have a lot of people who I don't know. So I'd like to say thank you for the people we don't know. Thank you for the people we do know, because
Yes.
you know, like, it's our good friends. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have
Thanks a lot.
what seems like a bot watching.
Oh.
Well, two bots. We have two bots watching apparently.
Oh,
But
that's a shame.
Dr. Kip, Dr. Seller,
Yeah.
Sim for Ken, Sphered Buckle, the Dead Livers, Psalms. Thank you all, and thank you,
How high does the goat
Commander
fly?
Root. If you're a real person and not a bot, even though it seems like you run a stream of 24 League of Legends statistics, thank you.
Yeah.
And then another person, a Robs, seems to be a 3 point something, 3.8k follower streamer.
Nice.
So if you are actually viewing,
Thank
even
you.
though it says you're streaming right now, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.
Oh god, that picture of my cat.
How high does the goat fly? I must know. 2006, as Simper Kenyon's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you calling us stupid? Yes.
Very. No qualifiers necessary. I think it stands on as its own statement.
Exactly.
2006. Yes.
Well, everyone, thanks for watching.
I hope you've enjoyed,
Hope you've enjoyed.
and we will see you next week with
Next
Chapter
week,
8.
Chapter 8. So far along.
Well, goodbye.
Adios.